Wired Axcess.
We'll do it live.
Wired Access.
Do it live.
Wired Access.
We'll do it live.
Wired Axcess.
Welcome to Wired Access Podcast, where I'm your host, DJ K-Dub Omaha. To my left, I have Bellevue West graduate Steven Poulicek, right?
Yep.
Oh, yes! Who is actually going to be attending the Dordt University in Sioux Center, Iowa, to play some basketball. Of course, we greatly appreciate the Omaha Supernovas, the first year inaugural champions of the Pro Volleyball Federation. They won that just this past Saturday. Congratulations to them. As I don't know if you've seen any episode, we've always talked about getting tickets. Be on the lookout to get those tickets for next year as they look to come back and make it too. But congratulations, Omaha Supernovas. And man, you were a part of Bellevue West. You had to make some decisions on high school, now college. But like, the thing that I don't know about you, because you're on the quiet side from my side, is where did you start? Did you play AAU before you got to like really get going at Bellevue? What was like your sports at the very beginning? What all you remember?
Man, the very beginning was, to answer your question, yeah, I played AAU growing up. Like, Coach Jeff was a big part of like my like whole process. Like, he brought me into like all his teams and really got me started. And then,
so then you were part of the Beast when they first came out?
Yep. I came and watched one of their games, and I like was like deciding on where to play at the time, and he was like, "Yeah, you need to come play for me." So I was like, "All right, bet." And then, I just stuck with him throughout. Like,
what was your competition before like the Beast side of it? Was it?
It was, so I was like with like the Papio feeder teams.
Okay.
Mostly like I thought I was going to go to Papio, honestly.
Were you the Monarchs or the Junior Titans?
Monarchs.
Yeah.
And then it turned into like Papio Elite with like Titans and Monarchs kind of merging together. And then.
And who was your coach for that?
His name was Russ Holvault.
Okay.
I don't know if you know who that is.
I do.
Yeah.
And then you had Brent Cizik.
Yep.
Right?
Yep. Yep.
So you ran with them. See, that's a side I don't know.
Yep.
Because Brent was a coach of my son, Kendall Wickwire Jr. And so, of course, we ran with a little bit with them. And then, of course, some of their players, because I coached at the Junior Titans. So it's kind of weird how the connection there.
Yeah.
What do you say kind of when you start looking at some of your differences early in your earlier years between even just coaching styles and practices? Like, what did you feel like the elite did that maybe the Beast didn't do? And then the Beast might have done something that you felt like you could have done better as the elite.
Man, I feel like the Beast, like, and like Coach Jeff and his, people that he had with him, it was just more real. Like, and the practices were more intense, like trying to get you ready for like, middle school and then eventually high school and just building that up. I mean, not saying that Papio like was bad or nothing, but I mean, that was also younger grades.
Yeah.
too.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, those are some differences for sure.
Okay. Just a level of competition. So you get into Beast, were you only playing basketball? Were you multi-sport? What were you doing?
So I started off playing like flag football and 7-on-7. Like, my dad really wanted me to play football, and then I didn't really play football in middle school, and then I tried it out freshman year, didn't really like it, and then just kind of stuck to basketball.
Well, what would you say? I guess I don't ask this enough. What do you think was a part that might have pushed you away from football over basketball?
My mom never really wanted me to play just because of the contact, to be honest with you.
Okay.
But I was always a quarterback, so I mean, I don't know. I would say probably just the contact. I mean,
it's a real thing. I mean,
it is.
The one thing I always stress to my son going through high school, which just graduated with you guys at 2024 out at Titans, is the thing that football gives someone that basketball doesn't is the amount of players that get opportunities, right?
For sure.
When it comes to basketball, I mean, look at Jacob Arope for you guys.
Mm-hmm.
He got offers from football before basketball.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't we're going to get into your process as well, but like that blew my mind. Jacob to me has always been, this is the guy who's playing basketball.
And to not say he had more basketball offers is crazy to me.
Yeah. And those are things that people don't understand of, like, you can look at a guy and you feel he is full basketball or full football. And then you come to find out that no one in that sport really had an eye for him, especially, I mean, with the legacy that you guys have left. Because did you go all 4 years to Bell West?
I went all 4 years, but I mean, I started freshman A, and then I went to JV, and then my junior year I came off the bench, so I kind of worked the way
through.
up.
And with your program at Bellevue West, that's one thing. Like some people get down on that. They're not saying you are, but some people don't feel like there's a journey that route. If I don't start varsity freshman, I'm out. If I don't start sophomore, I'm out. Who kept telling you that you just keep playing through those steps?
It was really my parents were the biggest influence,
Yeah.
but myself, and then I'd say my coaches too. Like, just like stay down, keep working. I just have to tell myself like, stay down, keep working. Like, don't take the easy way out. Like, just keep working and keep building yourself. And the work shows. And
what do you
work
think
showed.
was your biggest changes that you slowly had to mature through? That if you could have said right now to freshman Steven, this is what I would suggest you going in doing to change your route.
I'd say just, I don't know, not change like a lot. Just keep working. And I wouldn't change anything that has happened, because JV made me a better player. Freshman A made me a better player. Coach Hep, Coach Lordson, our JV coach. I mean, Coach Klein, playing for him in the summer. Like, just stay down and keep working, and just really don't take the easy way out.
High school summer and AAU summer. Do you feel like high school summer makes it so then you guys want to play high school more? Because to me, and obviously I just have 4 kids been through the system, but I feel like it's starting to try to pull strong that the summer league goes on. The summer league's going on. But the AAU is so impactful and there's so much live period, I would say, at the AAU that's your opportunity. I mean, does it kind of pull both ways, or do you feel like you were able to do summer and AAU at the same time?
I feel like I was able to do both. I mean, summer for school, like June's a lot. I mean, like you play a lot of games, but I mean, there's still like exposure there too.
Yeah.
AAU gets that's where I got all my exposure was through AAU. But yeah, I'd say it's both. I say, yeah.
When you were growing up, you thought basketball, that's your only sport. Football, you felt contact, mom's the normal mom. Every mom feels that way, the contact, their kids getting hit. But when you play basketball, you have a hard demeanor that I saw. I watched probably about 5-6 games this year of you guys, and I never once saw you shy away from the opportunity to make a play, whether it was being on defense in the right position, taking the charge, or whether it was taking it to the hoop and being able to find that one extra person. What do you think changes that demeanor to make it where you could be that aggressive, but yet football, the tackling was something you felt hard?
I think it's just two different things. I think like yeah, there's contact, but it's just like it also comes down to like what you want to do. Like if you really care about basketball, like you're gonna go out and do everything that's needed to, do what needs to be done. But I mean, football, like I didn't really have that drive with football as much as I do basketball. Like it was just never there. So I just didn't really put in, that much time or effort to it, honestly. But
what would you do during the off season? Because obviously going from multi-sport to one sport, would you ever have an off time for basketball, or would you?
Man, not really. Like these after state is really like the one time I've really had like an off season, like to just like kind of chill and not do a whole lot, just like really work out. But no, I mean, every off season it was AAU, it was school summer and traveling and all that stuff and working out. And
what would you do kind of in the August, September, October time?
Yeah, so that was like Bellevue West workouts. So like Monday through Friday, we would be like Fridays would be our track workouts. So we would do like however much, like 200s, 100s, 50s, stuff like that. And then Mondays would be jump rope. And then Tuesdays, Thursdays, we would do open gym. Okay. And then Wednesday would be like a P90X, like insanity workout, like in the wrestling.
Man, you straight.
Man, so we
P90X is old school.
So we definitely stayed conditioned. Yeah, that the P90X was a Coach Woodard thing for sure. But yeah, I mean they even when Coach Klein took over, like they kept us conditioned for sure.
Yeah, we had Coach Woodard on here after he announced his retirement, and just the routine you kind of get through this whole basketball, the whole school together. It helps keep you very active in what you do. Is there any activities that you present to yourself and you get to continuously do with basketball that you hope to continue?
Like just outside
clubs,
of basketball?
anything. Is there anything that you get that you get to kind of keep doing, and you're going to take off to college as well, or is it just going to be basketball?
It's kind of, I mean, it's kind of just basketball. Like outside of basketball, like I don't really do a whole much. I'm a like big family guy, but other than that, like it's really
Okay.
just about like getting the like lifting, getting in the gym.
You brought up a
But-
good thing, family guy. How important was it to kind of stay closer to here than to really make a cross country trip?
I
for you?
had, I mean, I had the opportunity to stay closer to home, but Coach VH with Dordt really like me and him bonded really well together. And I mean, 2.5 hours isn't that's nothing, but
No, it's not. And especially, I mean, it's just Iowa, so you get through and get
Right.
back. Recruiting process. What all was that like for you? When all did it start for you?
man, it really started, I'd say March or April, probably April after my junior year. So like I really like started talking to coaches like during that first tournament, like at UBT. And then just kind of took off from there. And I was in contact with 6 or 7 or 8 coaches, something like that. I can't remember, but it was mainly just like GPAC, NAI schools, but I kind of wanted to keep it smaller too. And, you know, have
People
a
don't
chance
understand the opportunity. Like, do you want to play
right.
or do you want to hang out?
Right. And that was a big thing for me. Like I wanted to get school paid for and be able to play, not just, you know.
And obviously being able to go through the process you accepted of the freshman, sophomore, junior process, that has to help also the understanding of this doesn't mean it's the beginning or end,
Sure.
but this is a strong beginning where you get the opportunity. How many visits did you officially take?
The schools I went to, officially visited Dordt. I went to Midland, Hastings, and Northwestern were my official visits.
Okay. And then what all do you remember of some good things that happened? And what was some things that made it maybe not feel at home?
So I tried to like, you know, go up and down with every team that I went to, like just go up and down with the guys, like get a feel for everything. And Dordt and Midland and Hastings, actually all of them like really had, you know, good vibes to them. Like everybody kind of felt like a family, but VH really started talking to me first and kind of just, we bonded together like super fast and just kind of took off from there. And
when you went on the visit, talk about like the home feeling. Cause I tell people it's not in the name.
mm-hmm.
It's in the feeling that you get when you get
Yep.
there and through the experience that you had.
And yeah, for sure. And a big reason, like I was Connor Milliken, who's up there, went to Platteview.
Yeah.
I was talking to him a bunch and he was just giving me feedback and was telling me to come up. And big part for me was just like going up and down with them, just getting a vibe for everything, getting a vibe from the coaches, the players, and they brought me in and made me felt like I was one of them, even though I wasn't even, like I was still in my process. And they just made me like felt like I belong.
Talk about you got the All-Star MVP for a game, All-Star game, right? American. Where was that at and what was that game
Yeah,
about?
that was like a little All-Star game that Dordt actually put on.
Okay.
It was for like small town Iowa kids that like just like for the surrounding areas. So you didn't necessarily like have to be going to Dordt or like be committed. Like
Yeah.
they had kids from like South Dakota State, Wayne State go up there. They were like kind of just from the area, but I was the only kid from Nebraska to go up there. But yeah, it was fun. It was good.
And you've obviously went through all the 4 years of high school. What was some of the best part of the high school that you remember as far as when it comes to just the feeling of wanting to be there and continue? Because high school nowadays the teachers aren't pushing you as hard to, if you turn something in, you turn it in.
Mm-hmm.
But you have a GPA of a 4.0. And that stuff matters more
Mm-hmm.
than, I mean, that's how you get your scholarships.
Yep.
What was that process for you and where'd all that come from?
My parents pushed me from when I was in kindergarten. You know, your grades are important. Like it will pay off for you, like later. And you know, now that I'm older, like I see like how it has paid off for me with like my academic scholarships and stuff. But and all the awards like I've gotten to, like it definitely paid off, and they were the biggest part in that. Me just keeping my grades straight, and you know, me like yeah.
You have some friends that might not be on that. Do you ever have to help or go through that process with them of understanding how important it is?
You know, if you play basketball at Bellevue West, like it's pushed, like grades come first. So I mean, I'd say far as basketball wise, like no, not really. Like everyone, like if you go to Bellevue West, like you know what the standards are, you know what you have to do to if you want to play or if you want to be a part of the program. But I mean, I'd say outside of basketball sometimes, just with certain kids that don't really understand it. But I'd say most of my like inner circle, like they understand like what it means. So
When you look at your teammates this year that you kind of grew up with,
Mhm.
who's the one that you probably spent the most time with and really
I'd say Jaden and Jacob personally, like they were even during the season, they were at my house. I'd say almost every weekend, just getting that bond. Like Eldon Turner too, Robbie Garcia. I'd say all of them really, but I'd say probably Jaden and Jacob. I'd have the closest bond with. I'd say.
what when you see Jacob going to football,
Mhm.
what does that even do for someone like yourself just noticing what he can do on a basketball court?
It's crazy because like he got into football what sophomore junior year something like that.
Yeah.
Just to see like playing football for not even for what 2 years, like and him being able to go where he's at, like South Dakota, like the program up there, and being able to just even go D1 with like 2 years of experience, like just shows that like if you really put in the work and if you really want it, like you can get what you want in life.
And you look at, of course, Jaden going to is he going to Wayne State?
He's going to South Dakota State.
South Dakota State.
Yep.
Eldon's going to Wayne
Yep.
State. But you see that these guys are slowly staying in the area,
Mhm.
kind of like yourself. How does this show that Bellevue West is a team where everybody going to the next level matters? Whatever it is.
It matters a bunch. Like it just shows like how prestigious the program is, and like it shows like all the work we put in through all the years to be able to get us to the next level. It's huge, and credit to Coach Klein and Coach Woodard for pushing us, and they're the biggest part in all of that. Is just
The
for sure.
consistency, I would have to say, right? And when you look at your coaches, of course, Coach Klein took over this year.
Mhm.
Last year, you had Coach Woodard
Yep.
there. What all does it even change for you when he announced you had no idea Woodard was leaving.
Mhm.
Did you have feelings though on the backside? Be honest, because he could have done so much and said, I want to do a going away
Mhm.
run here. But he made it where how important you guys were to help you guys not only win a championship for his last year, but then run it back with Klein.
Yeah, man. I like to be honest. We had no idea. Like we thought he was going to stick it out like for our 2024 class. That's what we thought personally, and he ended up telling us like right after we won state, like this is what I'm doing, and Coach Klein, like I want Coach Klein to take over and become the guy, and nothing changed. Like Coach Klein was, I mean, had all the same like stuff that Coach Woodard did, and so it wasn't really much of a change, like getting somebody new in. But I'd say playing for Coach Klein in the summer going into my senior year helped a lot too, because he was my coach at OSA for the summer. So that helped a lot too, just getting that bond and stuff. And yeah.
So you went and you were playing AAU through OSA.
Mhm.
Of course, OSA had a bunch of back stuff going on. Did that affect any of the playing for the players or any of that? And I only say because, of course, it was all over the news. Money here,
Mhm.
money there. And that just sometimes ruins the experience of what you got to do.
No, I don't really think so. It was more of just like, because Coach Klein told me he was going to be coaching a team over the summer, but he didn't really know where yet. And I was like, still deciding on where I wanted to play because I didn't really know. And I said like I'm trying to come play for you, and none of that really mattered. Like what's your like the money stuff, like that didn't really matter. And I knew people on the team, and just being able to play with those guys and Coach Klein, none of that stuff mattered.
AAU, where was your favorite place to go play?
My favorite place, probably Chicago. Chicago was fun. We went there with Coach Hep one year. I think it was my sophomore year. I don't remember what we went, but the competition over there, like they let everything go. It's physical. It was fun. It was fun. Yeah,
I
for
think
sure.
it's eye opening because like they got a lot of good talent. Like it's weird because there's some talent in Nebraska.
There is.
But when you go to KC or when you go to Chicago, you go even Des Moines. I mean, I know for baseball, like the competition just raises the bar. What was probably like because OSA was a part of the Adidas tour,
Yep.
right?
Yep.
Did you guys do any of the Next Pro or any of that?
No, we were just like mainly like recruit looks and like live periods and stuff like that. Like I think it was Supreme that was in that kind of like Next Pro Puma circuit.
I know,
think.
I know. NHE was
Yep.
Nebraska Hoops Elite
Yeah,
was.
we were just more like live period recruit looks. But I mean, all of it. I mean, it all gets you exposure if if you're playing for the right team, if you play the right way, like it. I mean,
What do you mean? You're talking like defense?
just like kids don't understand really like AAU, like yeah, it's about getting your own, but like you got to play the like coaches see like if you're sharing the ball, if you're playing like
gosh.
I don't if you're being a good teammate, like if you're doing the little things, if you're doing the right things, not just like I mean, yeah, you have to get you like at the end of the day, you have to get your own, but like if you play
Did
the
you
right
ever
way,
have a teammate on your AAU that you had to have a talk for when it came to the look ones? Because I know I watched a kid one time shoot up 24 shots, make 3,
that's not doing
and
nothing.
I'm like, the coaches aren't looking at you for
It's
that.
not. They're not.
And the bad part is like just the reinforcement from parents and players and coaches holding accountability.
And it comes with that leadership thing too. Like if a kid's doing that, you got to like sometimes you just got to get into them. Like even like the coach, like I don't know, like there's been times where that's happened, but I mean our OSA team like it wasn't really like that at all. Like we understood like we have to play this team like and we'll get our own.
How was it playing against some of your teammates in the AAU circuit?
It was fun, but it was weird, but it was fun. Just like going up against them like that friendly competition. It was fun for sure.
Who was the one that did you get one on someone that you're
Man,
like?
Not that I can remember, but I remember once like there was one tournament where we almost like I think it might have been River Cities or something. Like we almost played ETG like Jaden's team, and man, we were already we were on a streak too. Like we were like, yeah, we was gonna beat y'all. But nah, that's really it though. But yeah,
that's the fun part of it. What's the legacy you felt that you left at Bellevue West?
I think I left. I think I left a good one. I mean, only playing for 2 years, but I think I left a good like I was talking about earlier, like being able to stick it out. Like I think that shows a lot. Making my way up from freshman to JV to coming off the bench to starting. I mean, I think that leaves a pretty good legacy in itself. So,
what do you think was the hardest thing for you to process through your high school career? Sports and non-sports, one of each.
Man, the hardest thing to process, probably. That's a good question. Process. I think probably just. I always come back to like just the sticking to like, being able to process like, okay, I'm on JV, I got to make the best of it, just like that sort of thing. Like even thinking like, yeah, maybe I should be playing, but I got to make the best of what I got. Yeah. And just being that leader on JV too is just like, it made me better and I wouldn't change anything. So
representing yourself. When you think of any events that you have to miss, anything of that sort, is there anything that you would tell yourself, man, if we could go back, I should have attended this, I should have done this through your high school career?
Like just camps or
anything camps. It could be prom. I mean, I know one dude told us a while ago he missed the winter formal, just stuff like that. Like people don't understand like the grind to want to be good could make it where you miss the moment that you really wanted to see. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I feel that. I would say probably just maybe some like exposure camps, possibly. Maybe get my name out there a little bit more. But I mean, I'm happy with how everything ended up. But to answer your question, I'd say probably that.
How much guidance or knowledge did your parents have when it came to just even the recruiting process?
A bunch. Like they had their inputs and stuff, like what they liked, what they didn't like, but ultimately they left it up to me and what I liked, and whatever I decided, like they were like, yeah, cool, like it's your decision.
Did they know when or who to talk to, or did that all come from coaches when it came to your guidance on that?
I'd say that all kind of came from coaches. Like they kind of stayed away from all that, just kind of let me and the coaches and do all that. I mean, like obviously like a coach would come up and talk to me, like they would talk to like they had good relationships with all the coaches that I talked to, but yeah, I'd say I'd say that part was just mainly me and my coaches. But
If you could play any other sport or do any other thing, what would it be and why?
man, probably baseball.
Yeah.
Yeah, like my mom and dad always tell me like you could have been a really good baseball player, but it was just I don't know, it was just too boring for me. But like I don't know, I was kind of always was like, yeah, like I could have been probably a pretty good baseball player, but
It's a pace that it's not for everybody.
it's not.
And
It's definitely different from basketball, like going up and down all the time. Like it's definitely different. You got to like it or you don't.
when you think of what you love about basketball, who's the player or people that you look up to in the basketball world?
Man, I mean, like LeBron's always been my favorite player, but I kind of always looked up to him as a kid. Like I kind of followed him everywhere. I'm a big Michigan guy, so like a bunch of the old Michigan basketball players, like the ones in like 2014, 2015, like stuff like that. Like I'd say probably that. Yeah.
If you really know what's gonna happen as far as getting to Dordt, what does your summer look like heading into the
Yeah.
university
So
world?
so like since state, like I've kind of just did my own thing, like stayed in the gym and stuff like that. But I think in June, I'll start going up there for like open gyms and like going up and down with them and building that bond. And then I think they have like a June like league up there, like a college league that they play in. And really just like just staying in the gym, working out, going up there, open gym, some camps I think too are up there and that June league. So that's kind of what my summer looks like. But
Do you also have any high school camps or anything that you're looking to give back to the
yeah,
high school
right
time?
before I came into the studio, Coach Klein texted saying like he needed help with like the Bellevue West little kids camp, and I got little cousins coming, and I was planning on going anyway, but he said he needed help, so I think me and Eldon and Jacob are going to go help with that, so that'll
Heck
be
yeah,
good
it's always good to give back.
for sure.
When you look at the busy schedule of the basketball, the school, and obviously your grades, how do you feel like, or if you had a piece of guidance that you could provide to someone to be able to multitask that aspect through to get the 4.0 GPA is obviously hard. It's a dedication. But what would be the number one process that helped you get to that?
Yeah, like you said, busy schedule. Like days we had practice, it was practice and then either team dinner, game the next day, come home, do your homework, and go to sleep. I mean, that was a regular day during most of the season, but yeah, being able to multitask is important. I just say take it serious, like take your grades serious. Like if you have a missed assignment, just turn it in because like I don't know, it's important and it'll pay off. So I just say take it serious, like because yeah.
Who's your number one impact teacher that you had that
Oh
probably
man.
was one that you come back 5 years later, that's who you're looking for?
It's funny you say that because we had like our senior walk.
Yeah.
So like we go like to our old elementary schools and walk with our cap and gown on. And man, I'd say probably my kindergarten teacher's still there. So like anytime I see her, we bars in our classroom. She's teaching and she stops the whole class for us to come in. So I'd say probably her or my second or third grade teacher, like because my second grade teacher, Miss Clam, she
So
so
did you go to Avery?
no, I went to Bellevue Elementary.
Bellevue Elementary, because Clam was at Avery with my kids. That's why.
Yep, that's so I had her for second grade, and she liked our class so much she moved up with us in third grade because she had the opportunity to move up. So she moved up with us. So we had her for 2 years. So I'd say either my kindergarten teacher, Miss Sumner, or Mrs. Clam for sure had probably left the biggest impact on me, to be honest.
Now, a question as far as Friday night lights for football at high school is
Mhm.
one thing to come and watch. Does Dordt have football?
Yeah, they have football.
They do?
Yeah.
Because I tell you, my son's going to UNO, and I'm like,
Mhm.
how do you get away with, like, there's no Saturday football? There's
Man.
no, what all is those activities, and how did they kind of talk to you about? Are you able to go be involved with it, be around it?
Yeah, because I remember going up for their first game, in like October or something. I think I went up there just like kind of like a mini visit.
Yeah.
Stayed in the dorm with a few of the players, and then the next morning, like they played football like in the pouring snow. So, yeah, I mean, like they're like all the activities like are involved with each other, which I think is super important. Like Dort is just like a huge family, to be honest. Like, and that's what I loved about it. Like everybody is just family up there. That's the thing I took away from it.
Bellevue West, your team is obviously 2-time champs. They're continuing the process. What do you think is next year for them? What do you think how's it gonna roll?
Man,
Who's filling in? Who's stepping up?
they got Robbie Garcia coming back. He'll be a big part of what they do, and Coach Klein and our assistant coach Bush they'll get the boys right. But I mean, they have some freshmen and some younger guys that kind of like play JV and scouted us, and we've went back and played open gyms against them and stuff, and they've already gotten better. So I think it might take a little bit of time, but I mean, I think they should be right back in a few years or so.
What does Steven do to clear his mind? What is your one free time thing that are you a gamer? Or are you?
I used to be, not as much.
Yeah.
I used to be I'd say just alone time, listening to music, watching TV shows, stuff like that. Just kind of, mellowing out a little bit and just taking that time for yourself. It's important.
Yeah, because Jacob just kept telling you, he's like, I got to get I got to play games against the boys and show them who wins.
Yeah.
Man, I tell you, you guys have done a great thing at Bellevue West. You've obviously brought a lot of tradition. What does the Bellevue East, Bellevue West tradition mean to an actual student and athlete? And I only ask this, let me put this out there first. The competition ain't what it's supposed to be. But I know for the schools, it's so important.
It is.
It's so important.
It is. It used to be a lot bigger back then, I think, than what it is now. But I'd say even like student section wise, like our student section was completely packed for the East-West game, even though, like you said, like the competition may not be as high as it should be. I mean, people still show out and come support no matter who you're rooting for. And I think that's big, like playing in front of, almost the whole city of Bellevue. It's big and it means a lot. So
your last trip to Lincoln, what's your biggest memory from that? What's your biggest takeaway?
I mean, obviously, I got hurt in the state championship game.
You did,
but so that was hard.
Was that a concussion?
It was, yeah.
Oh man, yeah.
He came down and hit me on the top. It didn't even really look like it on the replay or nothing, but he came down and hit me on the top of the head. But that was hard for me, just it being my last high school game. Like in that stage, it was kind of just like, why now? But it doesn't take away anything else that we did the whole season. But as far as biggest memory, probably winning it. And even though I didn't play, like, still being a part of all that, and I got to come out and celebrate with all the boys, and it was,
at least you remember it. That's the biggest thing.
Yeah, for
Because
sure.
obviously people's concussions go up and down. Is that your first one, or
it was my second one. I got my first one in the off season going into my junior year, so I almost wasn't ready for the first week of practice. But
well, I'm only asking this because parents only, anytime you mention football, it's football concussions, but concussions can happen in any sport.
Yep.
What was the hardest thing through your process of recovery from those that you remember?
I'd say just because, like, my big thing was just like the headaches and just like the dizziness. So just trying to, like, I don't know, just like feeling off, like, and they're no joke. Like, you got to take them serious. Like, you can't like rush it or nothing. So I'd say probably just patience with it, going through all the protocols and stuff like that.
Because everybody wants to get back and play. Everybody wants to get back on the court.
Yeah, I'd say the biggest thing is just patience and knowing that, if you do what you need to do to get right, then you'll eventually get right, and just having patience with it.
How was the staff when it came to that and giving you patience and letting you know the process?
It was good. I have a cousin-in-law that's actually a concussion specialist, so he was huge. Like when I got my two, like he
probably eases mom a little bit through the process.
For sure. Like when it happened in the state championship game, like we FaceTimed him right away, and he said he's seen it on the TV and stuff. So yeah, probably him and like the trainers too, like getting me through their protocols, like, and having good relationships. Like I have good relationships with the trainers, like, so they were them. I'd say the two trainers and my cousin-in-law were definitely huge in the recovery. So
for your team, would you have said that you guys were better in the morning, early basketball, or in the afternoon?
I'd say probably in the afternoon. Like Coach Klein would always say, if I was like the opposing team, like I wouldn't want to show up and see Steven's hair like all over in the morning. He goes, I wouldn't be scared at all. So I'd say, probably answering your question, I'd say that we were probably more of a afternoon, late night team rather than morning. But
did you have any rivalry yourself that you remember through the whole playing varsity?
Like just with a team.
Just against a player, a team, anything?
I wouldn't say a player. Like on the court, I mean, there's no friends on the court, but like I'd say I'd had good relationships with everybody off the court. So I wouldn't say against a player, but I mean, Bellevue West and Millard North has turned into a good rivalry in itself. And
Gosh, everybody always says when you guys kept winning, people go, "Can someone else win? We want a different team." Millard North, do you think they come back next year like that?
I don't know. I mean, I know they got transfers coming in. They still got Derek Rollins up there, and I mean, talent in the Metro is still going to be high. Like, so
that's what I like.
It'll be interesting to see.
You guys have started a tradition. We'll get you out of here on this. What's Dordt University getting?
A winner, a leader, man of faith. Yeah, I'd say that.
All right,
for sure.
He said it all. He said it there. Once again, we greatly appreciate you tuning in for this Wired Access podcast. I'm your host, DJ K-Dub Omaha. We'll see you next time.